Yo, what's up guys, it's NLW here, back again with another video, part 2 of this Ruthless Aggression Jax figure draft. To see part 1 over on Spam Wrestling's channel, click the link in the description. Now, this is a brand new series. Me and Spam Wrestling will be going head to head in this Smackdown vs Raw Ruthless Aggression battle for brand supremacy. Now, the rules are as follows. Spam Wrestling will be representing Smackdown, I will be representing Raw, and we each get to pick 20 wrestlers from the Ruthless Aggression era for our shows. The only catch is, they must be Jax figures. Following on from this draft, we will each be booking our own Smackdowns and Raws respectively in a similar style to the GM mode of the Smackdown vs Raw games. And while we are booking our own shows, matches and segments, the outcomes of those matches will be randomly generated for an added wildcard factor. And from time to time, we may even build to brand exclusive pay-per-views every so often, you know, Unforgiven, No Mercy, etc. And maybe there'll even be a draft trade or a Survivor Series thrown in there every so often. Now, if you haven't seen Spam's video, go and watch his first, then come back here. But if you have seen that video, welcome to part 2. It is Spam's turn to pick.
Alright guys, so we are in the second round. We have now flip-flopped, and this is the first 10 of the roster, and I think it looks pretty good. There's a few things. I still need to get the Cruiserweight division going a little bit. Tag division could use some help, because right now Kane and Big Show is the only viable option. So, with that said, I am going to extend the life of the tag team division, and I'm going to add a partner for Shelton Benjamin, a man that he knows quite well. My pick, number 11, will be Charlie Haas.
Now, I've got a couple of good main eventers in there at the moment, so let's get some good mid-carders now. I'm going to pick Carlito Caribbean Cool. He's got his own talk show, Carlito's Cabana, that can make a few interesting segments, and he's quite a charismatic guy, solid worker too, good high flyer. I feel like he'll slot nicely into the mid-card, maybe potentially even go after the world title at some point, who knows at this point.
So I want to continue working on the tag team division with pick number 12, but before I do that, I do feel like I need to add someone to the Cruiserweight division as well. So in doing so, I'm going to kind of get both, best of both worlds. So my pick number 12 will be Paul London.
My next pick is going to be the homicidal, suicidal, genocidal, death-defying Sabu. He is without a doubt one of the most hardcore wrestlers ever. He did compete in the Ruthless Aggression era on ECW, occasionally also on Raw and Smackdown. I think it's nice to have quite a hardcore wrestler in there for gimmick matches time to time, someone who can risk it all, may even go after the main event guys at some point, give them a run for their money, but I feel like he's a good addition to the mid-card in some hardcore matches.
Pick number 13, we have 7 picks left. I want to keep filling out the Cruiserweight, and Paul London needs a tag team partner, so I will take the Brian Kendrick before he was the Brian Kendrick. We got the Hooligans.
Again, going to go for a good character, one that's one of my favourites in wrestling history, and that is Raven. He was only really around at the beginning of the Ruthless Aggression era, but that's good enough for me. I'd like to have him in my show. A great character, potentially could build a flock around him with some of the lower card guys, but that's what I want on my show. Good characters to build to storylines. Obviously the match's outcomes are random, but I feel like it would be an interesting storyline for Raven if he was on Raw.
Alright, so pick number 14. I want to get a couple more mid-card guys, and I don't think there's anybody better. This guy is actually well-deserving of mid-card. I mean, he's much more of a main eventer, but I think with how the show is kind of getting the foundation, I think he's right around the Christian level of guys, so we'll see how it goes. But pick number 14, Booker T.
My next pick is the Dominator, Bobby Lashley. Feel this guy has proven himself as a main eventer. Would be good to have that MMA kind of style of hybrid for my Raw show. Stick him up at the top of the card, stick him in the middle of the card, have him squash some jobbers too. There's a lot of flexibility as to where I can place him on the show, and that's why I'm picking Lashley.
So now we're going ahead. This is now pick number 15, and I want to add one more to the Cruiserweight division. This guy was arguably probably the best Ruthless Aggression Cruiserweight, and I am adding Gregory Helms. Oh, that's a bad start. Already on the injured list.
My next pick is brash, he's arrogant. It is Mr. Kennedy. Again, the word potential kind of crops up with him quite a lot. Never really won the big one in WWE. Maybe that will change on my Raw show. Always thought he was a great character, had some charismatic promos, and his feud with The Undertaker, one of my favourites. Let's see what he can do on Raw against the likes of Eddie Guerrero, Shawn Michaels, and others.
So I just want to go on the record on for pick 16, I was going to pick Mr. Kennedy, but you know what? That's how these drafts work out. So you know what? Instead, I'm going to go with somebody... You know what? I'm going to go with somebody. This is going to help the tag team division. This could help the mid-card. Pick number 16. Somebody that a lot of people don't like, but I think was quite talented in what he did. And that will be Rene Dupree.
The next pick loves to fight. It is the Fighting Irishman, Finlay, a veteran to combat some of the younger talent, or at least they were younger when they were in the Ruthless Aggression era. Again, he's worked for ages, got a very stiff style, that European edge that he's got I think would be a great asset to my Raw show, can really give the likes of Sabu, Rey Mysterio a bit of a run for their money with that gritty Irish style.
You know what? With this pick, there should be a little bit of competition here in these two shows, and you know what? I want to add a little bit of drama to this. So obviously NLW, he had chosen Jeff Hardy earlier in the first round. So with pick number 17, I'm taking no one else but Matt Hardy. And this will be the first Deluxe Aggression figure that I have included in this video.
Next we've got Chavo Guerrero. I feel like I may have stolen him from Spam's Cruiserweight division on Smackdown, but hear me out. I think he could be in a great tag team with Eddie Guerrero if I decide to put Los Guerreros together to go after the World Tag Team titles, and why not give Chavo a shot at the mid-card belt? I don't believe he's held any titles other than the Cruiserweight and Tag Gold, so this would be a good stepping stone for him on my Raw.
Alright, so pick number 18. I'm a little bummed out that I missed out on Chavo Guerrero, because he was definitely one that I intended to add to the Cruiserweight division. But somebody that has not been picked yet, and I think was kind of a surprise that they haven't been picked yet. So with pick number 18, I'm going to bring in a legend. I'm going to bring in The Undertaker.
Similar to Finlay earlier, this guy also loves to fight. It is the Fighting Brit, William Regal. Could put him in a tag team with Finlay, go after the tag titles, could also go after the Intercontinental title, may even have a sniff at the world title if I'm feeling it. Again, a very brutal European style. Feel like I could do some interesting matches and feuds with him in the fold, so we'll just have to wait and see what the Brit has in store for Raw.
So we're winding down, 2 picks left, and the Cruiserweight division I think is in decent shape, but the tag team division's a little rough too. I mean, I can do Undertaker Kane, I could do Kane and Big Show. I got Sheldon and Haas, got the Hooligans. But I think I need to add one more to the tag division, and I hate wasting a pick on this, but I think this is the way that it's got to go. So this will complete La Resistance. I'm going to go with Rob Conway.
Undoubtedly, my next pick is the biggest star of the Ruthless Aggression era, and I mean that literally. It is the great Khali, an absolute giant. Put this guy in the ring with anyone and he'll destroy him. Although the random outcome aspect of the matches may mean he'll lose sometimes, I'm not sure, but I feel like a big monster heel presence on the show is desperately needed. With a lot of plucky underdog guys like Rey Mysterio and Shawn Michaels, Khali throws a wrench into the mix with his power.
So, final pick of the draft. I have a few options. Just to note some of the options that I'm thinking about. Hardcore Holly, Heidenreich, The Miz is an option, Tajiri, Mark Jindrak, Scotty 2 Hotty I'm looking at is a potential one, Snitsky. But my Cruiserweight division is not as strong as I would like it to be, and I'm a big Cruiserweight guy. And so this guy was actually one of the first Cruiserweights that I was really a fan of. So there's a little personal attachment to why I'm adding him. But pick number 20, I'm going with Billy Kidman.
And for my final pick, I'm going to pick the A-lister, The Miz. Only started to come into his own in the Ruthless Aggression era. Could put him in a tag team with Johnny Nitro. Could have him climb up into the main event scene. He is a charismatic guy after all, and there's a bunch of stuff I could do with The Miz. Would have picked him earlier, although I did forget that he was an option. Nevertheless, feel like he's a strong final pick, and that rounds out my Raw show and my Raw roster.
So, with the Billy Kidman pick, round 2 is all wrapped up, and the draft is wrapped up for me. here's what we ended up with Spam Smackdown, and I feel like it's a pretty good roster. Let me know what you think. I tried to cover all the bases that made sense. A few guys I wish I had grabbed later, like obviously I would love to have added MVP, Mark Henry would have been a good addition. But overall, I think I did a pretty decent job drafting. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know if you beat an NLW, and just let me know what you want to see going forward.
Well, that is it for the draft. Thank you once again to Spam Wrestling for doing this series with me. Their link will be in the description for his channel. Go and subscribe to him if you haven't already. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button and comment down below what matches I should build to on my first Raw show. Is there any wrestler I should have picked that I haven't yet? Let me know in the comments as well. Make sure if you're not already, hit that subscribe button, like this video if you enjoyed, and I will catch you guys later.